Chapter 25. Before they even realized it, they found themselves standing in front of Adelmo's humble abode. Nick, being the ever-optimistic friend, exclaimed, "Ah, we have arrived. I hope you have a jolly good time at your grandpappy's place, my dear Adelmo. It shall do you a world of good to escape the hustle and bustle of this town for a wee bit." Adelmo, feeling a tad weary, replied with a hint of exhaustion, "Indeed, my friend, I shall endeavor to catch some much-needed shut-eye, so I can rise with the sun for my early morning flight." With that, Adelmo approached his front door, fumbled with the keys, and finally managed to unlock the entrance to his humble abode. As soon as he stepped inside, Adelmo plopped himself down on the couch, feeling the weight of the day on his shoulders. He reached for the remote control and, with a flick of his wrist, brought the television to life. The news blared from the screen, bombarding him with tales of break-ins and unfortunate encounters with some mysterious creature. The reporters seemed just as clueless as Adelmo himself, unable to provide a clear answer on the identity of this elusive animal. Adelmo's mind raced, contemplating the events he had witnessed firsthand. He couldn't help but feel a sense of confusion and uncertainty. One moment, he believed he had a grasp on the situation, only for his own doubts to counter his thoughts. It was a constant battle between his instincts and his rationality. Eventually, Adelmo made a conscious decision to push aside these troubling thoughts and retire for the night. Lying in bed, Adelmo tried his best to relax and let go of the worries that plagued his mind. However, the weight of the town's troubles continued to linger. As he lay there, his mind wandered through the labyrinth of thoughts, unable to find an escape. Slowly but surely, exhaustion took over, and Adelmo succumbed to a deep slumber, hoping that sleep would provide respite from the chaos that surrounded him. Adelmo's eyes fluttered open, his heart pounding in his chest. The remnants of his dreams still clung to his mind, the vividness of it making him question his reality. It had felt so real, so tangible, that he had forgotten he was merely sleeping. In his dream, he found himself in a never-ending battle against a swarm of bats. With each swing of his arm, the bats seemed to grow more aggressive, their sharp fangs glinting in the moonlight. Desperation fueled his every move as he tried to fend them off, but they persisted, their relentless pursuit driving him to the brink of exhaustion. As Adelmo's legs carried him through the darkness, his breath came in ragged gasps. The bats, like shadows in the night, followed his every step, their wings fluttering ominously. Panic surged through his veins, urging him to find refuge from their relentless assault. He stumbled upon a nearby building, its doors beckoning him with the promise of safety. With a glimmer of hope, he rushed inside, hoping to leave the bats behind. But to his dismay, they persisted, their haunting screeches echoing through the empty corridors. No matter where he turned, they were there, their beady eyes fixed on him, their wings poised for attack. Finally, Adelmo found solace in a hidden corner of the building, his body trembling with exhaustion. He collapsed onto the cold floor, his mind racing with fear and confusion. The walls around him seemed to offer a shield, a sanctuary from the relentless torment. He closed his eyes, seeking respite from the chaos that had consumed his dream. And then, in an instant, he awoke. His eyes flew open, his body drenched in sweat, and he found himself back in his own bed. The relief washed over him, mingled with a lingering sense of disbelief. He had expected to wake up in a different place, far away from the nightmare that had plagued him. But as he lay there, panting and disoriented, he realized that sometimes the line between dreams and reality can blur, leaving us questioning our own existence. Day 6. Adelmo's eyes shot open as he jolted upright, his heart pounding in his chest. He glanced at the clock on his bedside table, and his eyes widened in horror. It was already 9:30 in the morning. Panic surged through his veins as he realized that he might miss his flight if he didn't act quickly. Without wasting another second, he leaped out of bed, his mind racing with thoughts of the consequences of being late. Frantically, Adelmo hastily grabbed a bag and started throwing clothes into it, not caring about matching outfits or neatly folding them. He knew that time was of the essence, and he couldn't afford to waste any more precious minutes. As he rushed towards the door, his heart sank as he remembered that he had left his car at the station the previous night. Cursing under his breath, he dashed back inside his home and fumbled for his phone. With trembling hands, Adelmo dialed Nick's number, praying that he would answer. The phone seemed to ring endlessly, each second feeling like an eternity. Finally, just as Adelmo was about to give up hope, Nick's voice filled his ears. Relief flooded through him as he blurted out his desperate request for a ride to the airport. "Hey Nick, can you run me to the airport? I am running late." "My alarm didn't wake me up," he pleaded, his voice laced with urgency. Nick's response was immediate and reassuring. "Sure, I can take you there. Be right over," he replied without hesitation. Adelmo's heart swelled with gratitude as he hung up the phone. Time seemed to stretch as he anxiously waited for Nick to arrive. Just when he thought he couldn't bear the suspense any longer, he heard the familiar sound of a car horn outside his house. Without a second thought, Adelmo bolted towards the door, his eagerness causing him to miss a step. He stumbled and crashed to the ground, his face flushing with embarrassment. However, he quickly regained his composure, brushing off the dirt from his clothes as he walked towards the waiting car, determined to maintain a cool facade despite the chaotic morning he had endured.